Welcome in to Wilmington, North Carolina. It's Port City FC Women's versus Carolina Football Club. It's a WPSL match between the top two teams in the table. The Port City FC women's team ranks 6th in the nation. So we'll start with the starting lineups for Port City FC. In goal today, number 0, Morgan Hobbs. Playing center back, number 18, Avery Barr. Playing alongside Barr is number 16, Jordan Hall. Playing right back is number 7, Alex Sumas. Playing left back is number 4, Kaylee Risher. Playing in the middle of the field is number 6, Marish Jennings. Alongside her is number 10, Kylie Pete. Alongside her is number 14, Ellie Farrell. We saw her score in the last game here. Number 5, Chloe Wright's playing left wing. Number 11, Azumi Oka is playing right wing. And last but not least, back in the midfield is Karina Pete, number 13. They've already introduced the Carolina Football Club roster here at Legion Stadium, but I'll give that to you right now. In goal, number 1, Callie Prescott. Number 2, Addie Moss is the defender. Alongside her, Jordan Davis, number 14. Number 23, Karis Wheeler, a defender as well. Ainsley Yates, a defender, number 18. Lily Brigham, is a defender, number 21. Cameron Reinrich is a midfielder, number 19. Katia May is a forward, number 16. Catherine Balankios is a forward, number 9. Hannah Barton, a forward, number 5. And Gianna Rizzo, a forward, number 6. We'll step aside for the national anthem. So not to cut myself short there, had to listen to the national anthem and pay the respect to the flag, but the teams do the honorary fist bumps. And now we get underway as they get into their huddles. Port City FC's in their home Navy. The temperature's cooled off nicely, mid-80s now. While Carolina Football Club, or Carolina FC, they wear their all red. These two teams last met last Friday, 8 days ago. Port City FC won that game 2-1. And what a game that was. Karina Pete with the game-winning goal. And Alex Sumas also scoring for Port City FC for Carolina FC. Katia May scored their lone goal. And coming into that game, that was a top 2 battle. It still is a top 2 battle today in terms of position in the standings, but it's gotten a little bit more spread out. Port City FC, they are undefeated. They have won all 5 of their games, sitting at 15 points on the season. They've scored 18 goals at Port City FC and only given up 3, and the max in a game they've given up is 1 goal. As for Carolina FC, well, they were 4-0 to start the season, but a run of bad form has struck them as of late. A draw, a 1-1 draw that is, against the Football Club of Charlotte, followed by that loss last Friday against Port City FC, and then a loss this Tuesday, so not but 5 days ago against NCFC on the road. So they're back-to-back road games now. Haven't won in 3 games, have Carolina FC, and they get it underway going right to left on your screen. As for Port City FC in the all-navy, they're going left to right. So Carolina FC looking to get back in the win column and back on the right track. They sit at 13 points on the season. While Port City FC playing 2 less games than Carolina FC right now, have 2 more points. Only 8 games in the calendar season, or regular season, so Carolina FC looking to finish the regular season out on a high note. Reinerick tried to cross in there. It's collected by Hobbs, though. Now there is Chloe Wright finding Sumas, a goal scorer in the last game these 2 teams played, but it's picked off and absolutely slammed out of bounds by Yates. A lot of defenders listed on the starting lineup for Carolina FC. And as I said, last regular season game for Carolina FC. The top 2 teams, at least from that's what I've heard in the WPSL, make the conference championship game in the Southeast Conference. Sumas pressuring now. And gets fouled. Referee says play on. And Karina Pete with a long-range effort, held there, though, by Prescott. It's the Atlantic Conference, excuse me, not the Southeast. So the Atlantic Conference in the WPSL. Port City FC could win the regular season title, which would mean they would host the championship game with a win tonight. But more on the line than that, as Port City FC are ranked 6th in the nation in the WPSL overall as a league. So a lot riding on that. Thank you for tuning in. Must say that. It's going to be a great night of some soccer action. We had a great game this afternoon. Port City FC men's team, they beat Greenville United 2-1. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel that you're watching on. Definitely leave us a like if you're enjoying it. And we're always open for some comments. Comment if you think Port City FC is going to win with Port City FC. If you think Carolina FC is going to win, let us know as well. We're always open to your comments, and we always love to hear what the fans think at home. Oka trying to stretch to that one, was unable to do so. So the Women's Football Club of Charlotte played today at 6 p.m. Excuse me, sorry. They play tomorrow at 7. That's the Women's Football Club of Charlotte last game in the regular season, just as Carolina Football Club is right now. And the importance of that is that the top 2 teams I mentioned, right, make the conference championship game. So Carolina FC, they sit 2nd at 13 points, while Women's Football Club of Charlotte have 10. I'm sure the Women's Football Club of Charlotte is watching in tonight with interest, knowing that they need with Carolina Football Club to lose here. Here's Karina Pete now, trying to open the scoring for Port City FC, crosses it over to Oka. Oka now plays it at the top of the box. But it's recycled now back around by Port City. Jennings decided not to take a shot there. Sumas plays it out wide to Kylie Pete. Sisters on the team are the Peets. Kylie Pete flicks it in to the body of the Carolina defender of Moss. Not many subs for either team tonight. Rotating subs. You can come in and out of the game as many times as you would like. It's a throw-in now for Carolina as Port City FC. And here's that chance that we said. Karina Pete crossing it. Oka just had overrun the ball there, and Port City FC have won it back quickly now. Good pass on there. Palaukinis. The captain is Palaukinis. Here she is on the ball, but it's won back by Kylie Pete. Women's Football Club of Charlotte will need a win as well with the Carolina FC loss. And they would be in the championship game. So we'll see about that tomorrow, but obviously the result here more important for Women's Football Club of Charlotte right now. Carolina FC could lock their spot up in the championship game if they get a point today. And it was quite a game when these two teams met last Friday night. Six minutes into the game so far. Not much action to be had. A couple chances like that one we saw from Karina Pete. Other than that, though, there hasn't been much so far. Jennings trying to create something. Finds right now. Farrell still with the ball at her feet. Tries to keep it in possession, but good defense by Carolina FC. It's played back. And just able to get it off her feet was Hobbs. Panic stations there for the Port City FC goalminder. Here's Kylie Pete looking for Ellie Farrell. Ellie Farrell on the run trying to chase it down, but getting there first was Wheeler to clear it out of bounds for Carolina FC. Farrell now connects with Oka. Oka scored in the last game that we saw Port City FC play at home. That was a 5-1 win over North Carolina FC, who just beat this Carolina FC team on Tuesday of this week. It's crossed in. Pete with the head on it. Karina Pete, but it's headed back where it came from and out for a goal kick. There is Karina Pete getting up over the two defenders, but just not directing it towards the goal. Here's Farrell trying to win it off of Brinkman, excuse me. There is Sumas crossing it in. Oka on the back post. Defended well, though, by Carolina and cleared away once more, but only to Jennings. Now it's with Wright. And it's won back and cleared away by Carolina for the moment. There is Kylie Pete trying to get it to her sister of Karina Pete. Tries to flick it on to Oka, but Oka fell down right on the PK spot. There is Jennings. Jennings found Wright. They've had a couple connecting passes already. Farrell trying to win it, ends up going off her shin and out of bounds for a goal kick. So Prescott will have another goal kick. Some rotating going on already for Carolina FC. We see Ainsley Yates moving to right back and number 13 entering the game for Carolina FC. Not many subs, 3 excluding the backup goalkeeper for Carolina Football Club. And the player that's come on, I said it was number 13. It's Grace Overton. Here is Oka now. We've seen a lot of possession on this right side of the field favoring Port City FC. It's in the box now for Pete. Farrell trying to get on the end of it. Defensive work once again. And a last-stitch challenge by Brigman.
This corner kick brought to you by Brown's Pizza. Pizza that always hits the back of the net.
So a corner kick, it'll be played in by Kylie Pete, excuse me. An in-swinger. We've seen already Olympico where it scores in off the corner for Port City FC women's on the season. A Chloe Wright shot there, goes high and wide. And fans at home, let us know who you're rooting for. Let us know who you think is going to score the first goal. If you have a favorite player, if you're a family member of a player on the teams, let us know if you think they're going to score the first goal. Also, don't forget to like and share and also subscribe to the channels you're watching, either on the Port City FC YouTube or the TSC TV YouTube channel. Sumas running towards the ball and wins it back for her team. Try to move there, but just knocked it out of bounds. So it'll be a throw in for Carolina FC. Overton passes it back. And wins another throw, does Overton. Overton once again passes it back to her teammate to throw the ball in. That is Hannah Barton. It's won back though by Port City FC. Jordan Hall. Not much action for the center backs of Port City yet today. There's Hall playing a long ball up the field, finding Farrell. But Barton was there and still there, but Farrell trying to win it back. Mad scramble of feet there. Chloe Wright will just let that one go out of bounds for a throw-in for Port City. And I see we have a repeat viewer. It's Hickory FC fan. He was here for the men's game, and he's now watching for the women's game. So we do appreciate the viewership and also the comments. Also, Hickory FC fan, if I'm not mistaken, said he was going to the Hickory FC game in the NPSL for the men's at 7 p.m. which is coming up here soon. But a big game here today. Obviously, the stage has been set. A win for Port City FC wins the regular season for Port City FC in the WPSL. As for Carolina FC, if they want to clinch their spot in the championship game, remember they need to be top 2 out of the 5 in the WPSL Atlantic Conference. They need just a point today. If not, they're going to rely on Women's Football Club of Charlotte not winning tomorrow. Here's a foul on Avery Barr. So it'll be a free kick for Port City FC. A little pull of the shirt there will always get the job done in terms of the foul. It's cooled off nicely though after the sun has gone behind the clouds. Like I said, probably around 80, if not going into the 70s now. There's Wright finding Oka, but it's won back by Carolina, excuse me. May played a long ball trying to find her striker of Reinerink. Reinerink, also a captain for Carolina. Here is Hall for Port City FC. Kylie Pete possessing, finding Wright. Now back to Barr, now inside once more to Jennings, excuse me, right now on the ball, plays it up, or tried to play it to Sumas, who's high up, almost into the striker position from a right back role, or right wing back. So it goes back to Hobbs. And much like the men's game started very slow, we've seen that kind of transition into this women's game as well. But here is Wright on the ball, trying to create something, trying to loft it over to Farrell, but it's more over onto the side of Karina Pete, and she will get on the end of it. She's going against Yates over on that far touchline. Now it is Wright who crossed it in but blocked away by Bringman. There's Wright once again, takes a shot on with her right foot. Had to come across the ball though, which caused her to shoot that one off target. That's one of those, maybe you see a left-footed player have a better strike at it than a right-footed going around the ball. So the ball bounces. It's Reiner Inc. Reiner Inc. trying to find her teammate, maybe offsides, says the far linesman. No, so play will continue. It stays with Carolina, and the substitute of Overton. Overton now off the ball. May gets called for the foul on Wright. Hickory FC fan reminding us that it was Port City FC versus Greenville United this morning in the men's matchup. That Port City FC won 2-1. Thus cementing their place in second in the NPSL just that little bit more. Here's Oka now on the near side, crossing it, but it goes out of play. There was a hydration break in the first half and the second of the men's game. Not sure if there'll be a hydration break in the women's game here.
Now for Port City, number 9.
So it will be Corinne Gregory who enters. Number 9, it looks like, for Port City FC. And it's a throw now. Sumas throws it into Wright. Sumas now being pressured. Reiner Inc. was pressuring Hall there, but it's able to get back to Hobbs. A lot of possession so far for Port City FC. We've seen Carolina FC try to possess, but they've obviously told themselves and they've been coached to just boot the ball long on the attack. So back in action here. There is Wright. And it's possessed nicely now by Carolina. There's Davis. Oh, good cross here. Sumas, though, able to be aware of it. It clears it out for a Carolina FC throw. Hickory FC fan asks why this channel is called TSC TV, or Triad Soccer channel. It's based out of the Triangle. That's what it's called in North Carolina. So Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and High Point. That's the Triangle of North Carolina. So, or the Triad, excuse me, yeah. The Triangle is that Raleigh area. So the Triad is the area I just mentioned, so that's where the name comes from. Just a little backstory there. And Port City FC YouTube does have a channel as well. It's a newer one. I think their old one was disabled or something. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Now it's an attack for Port City FC. Gregory, shot by Farrell, blocked, save, rebound, goal for Kylie Pete. She gets the scoring open underway here in Wilmington, North Carolina.
And that's a goal for the Port City Football Club.
And there's that replay. Farrell not getting the greatest of contacts, but forces the rebound off the save from Prescott, and Pete leaves nothing to be desired as she puts it into the back of the net. It's now 1-0 in the 20th minute. And it only takes one moment where to score the opening goal and take command. Port City FC will try to take command of this game now. Hickory FC fan, thank you for letting us know about it. It was disabled. That was a question of mine. Onsides, yes it is for Overton. Overton will get there, trying to keep the ball in. Sumas pressuring hard to her right side. Overton goes for the cross right away, but Sumas right on her heels stopped that one in its tracks. Now here's Sumas trying to find Farrell. She does get to Farrell, but after a little touch from co-captain of May for Carolina. Vorbridge Soccer says, "Go ladies. Saw you on the broadcast," or on the stream, you might say, for the men's game. So thanks for tuning in once more. We love to see repeat viewers on the streams, and do appreciate everyone's view though. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channels as well. Here's Hall. Hall is pressured by Overton. Now back to Sumas. Gregory now. A lot of possession from Port City FC. It's definitely been a slow start to this game, even though we have a goal. It really came from nothing, just a string of passes like we've seen from Port City just right there before it got broken up. And we'll see another substitution. It's going to be coming off. It'll be number 7. It's coming off. So Kaylee Risher and Madison Lieber will come off, or come on, excuse me. Lieber making a impact in the last game against NCFC at home at Legion Stadium. So free kick, Lieber's first touch and impact in the game is a free kick 1 for Port City FC. The ball is played in by Hall. At the top of the box now is Wright. Now it goes out to Sumas. Sumas will look. Karina Pete open on that far side, but it's defended well and pulled back by Sumas. Is the Carolina attack. Surprised we don't see yellow there. Tactical foul by Sumas, but referee keeping the cards in the pocket for right now. A couple defenders were back, so maybe that was the thought process there for the referee. Avery Barr going into a hefty challenge there with her fellow counterpart wearing 18, Ainsley Yates. Hickory's FC fan says not at the Hickory game right now, but he will be. That is going to be a great atmosphere from what we heard earlier, 3,000 to 4,000 fans in attendance. That's the kind of soccer atmosphere you want, and especially at a lower level like this in the WPSL and the NPSL. A lot of possession for Port City FC, something that you expect from a team that is so high in the rankings for the WPSL. It's always tough to get those rankings with such a spread out league, but the rankings are made, and Port City FC might have a long summer if they can keep up their good string of play. It's going to be a hydration break here 25 minutes into the game.
Go into a 3-minute water break. Let these ladies hydrate a little bit in this hot summer day.
So we see the hydration break, and we're going to see a substitution as well. We'll take a look at the goal. There's the cross from Gregory. Farrell just gets enough on it and challenges Prescott, and Kylie Pete, their back post, will take the goal to her name. And it's also, you know, maybe a sisterly challenge there with Kylie Pete and Karina Pete. Karina Pete's been scoring a lot of goals, but Kylie, on the opposite hand, has not. She's had a lot of contributions in terms of not necessarily assists, but passes that have been dangerous passing, leading to goals, but that stat is not really counted. So to get a goal for her is big for herself. And Hickory FC fan says Moretz Stadium will be packed. And that is going to be exciting for that game. But also, Hickory FC coming to Wilmington next Saturday. A big game at 6 p.m. This kickoff slot for next Saturday. Definitely tune in if you're not going to be here. Also, a question that I have for Hickory FC fan is how many of those fans are going to be traveling? Obviously, a lot of fans in the stadium, as you say. How much do they travel? And if not, they'll be here on the broadcast, and we'd love to have them. The more, the merrier. And Vorbridge Soccer, you're absolutely right. No better marketing than a winning team. That's the best that you can have. And Hickory FC, they've undefeated 7-0 for Hickory FC. For this women's Port City FC team, they're 5-0, trying to go to 6-0. So that is what you like to see if you're a marketer in Wilmington. And this nearsighted linesman, even with a water bottle in his hand, you don't normally see a linesman with a water bottle. He's drinking some right now. I'm sure he'll stuff that in his pocket or off to the sideline, but you know it's definitely hot and humid whenever you have that. And it's not the heat in the afternoon here in Wilmington, it's the humidity, and that really causes you to sweat, that's for sure. So Oka is back in the game, and so is Julia Hellenkamp as well. This is her first entrance into the game. So here we have Carolina FC possessing. No pressure really from Farrell here yet. Now Farrell does press the Carolina FC back line, trying to get it into the third captain of Palacones. It's one back by Port City. Now Gregory on the attack on this near side, defended well and knocked out of bounds. It's going to be Lieber on the throw-in for Port City FC. Reminder, Port City FC up 1-0 on Carolina FC. Cross in by Lieber into Farrell. Bounced off a couple of bodies and cleared away by Kachiame. Here is Palacones. Palacones, though, just taking a touch too big, and it goes out of bounds before she can cut back inside. Hickory FC fan asked, do you want us to be a commentator, or do you want me to be a commentator soon? I know we mentioned that in the last game, and we always are open to people in the industry, and that is, you know, something that we do appreciate, and we also love to hear from your side. And also, no problem for making you feel welcome. We love to make our fans feel like they are part of the broadcast, especially at a lower level of football. And it's Carolina FC now. They always try to find the channels, but Barr is there, but tries to get to her keeper of Hobbs. Hobbs with a fancy touch, just like Manuel Neuer. Seen that before from him. Now Hobbs, once again, collects herself, passes to the Barr. That's great composure from the Port City FC netminder. Now it's up to Farrell. And Vorbridge Soccer having a little bit of humor to the chat. Love to see that. Nearsighted in terms of his eyes, or near side. So I do appreciate that correction. Near side, yes. But I don't know anything about his eye condition. He does have glasses on, that's all I can say. So maybe he is nearsighted. Who knows? Shot from Oka right into the hands, though, of Prescott. And that's around the same area that we saw a bunch of goals in the men's game. Well, we saw one by Jack Steele. That area has been dangerous for Port City in the men's and women's side. They scored a goal like that, did the women's team their last home game against NCFC. Brigman gets it up to Palakonis. And it's going to be a throw-in taken by Barton. Palakonis comes off now for Carolina FC, and so does Yates. Riley Deal enters, number 7, number 6, Gianna Rizzo enters as well for Carolina FC. The UNC Charlotte player is Rizzo. Port City FC also making a substitution. It's a re-entry for Port City FC of Kaylee Risher. So now it's with Hall. Hall trying to find Gregory, but outside her frame there, and it's cleared right back to Hall, though. Now she has to do a little bit of defensive work, though. There is the fresh legs of Rizzo. We saw fresh legs so critical this morning with all the heat, or this afternoon's probably a better word for it. It wasn't in the morning, as it was a 2 p.m. kick, but this afternoon, fresh legs, we saw 2 substitutes score out of the 3 goals in that first match. Obviously less heat now, but being fresh off the bench, and there's unlimited substitutions. You can come in and out as much as you want. Here's Hall, maybe winding up for a shot. Decides not to. Here's Hellenkamp, though. It's got some swerve on it, but right into the hands of Prescott, and this time she holds it securely. Here's that chance once again. That did have some movement on it, but not enough power behind the shot to really challenge Prescott. And as the season winds down for Carolina FC, this being their last game, Port City FC having 2 more, you start to think about the playoffs. And for Port City FC, well, they're going to be in the conference championship and maybe look to compete in the regional and maybe even the national, depending on how those results go. As for Carolina FC, well, they're just going to have to wait until tomorrow if they end up losing this game. Here's Farrell, though, on the edge of the 18. She takes a strike. Hellenkamp controls, now plays it back to right over to Jennings. Now Jennings back down on the near side to Hall. Little combination there with Hellenkamp and Hall. Hellenkamp leaves this one. Farrell, though, can't stop her tracks, but get there. And maybe a foul. Referee looking. He says nothing's there. And she came out of nowhere, did Chloe Wright. And that, I mean, that's the verge. She took a big touch, though. That's probably what the referee saw, the big touch. So it's a tough one to judge in that sense. So it stays 1-0 and no penalty. Here's Oka, though. Coming off her line is Prescott sliding. Great effort from Prescott and clean play from Oka there. Hickory FC fan. You said you're heading to the Hickory FC game. Have fun there and good luck. Hate to lose you on the stream, but happy to have you while you were here. Here's Gregory. Gregory takes a touch off the defender. It's a corner now for Port City FC. And Vorbridge Soccer, you asked about the substitutions. Well, I answered that question as you sent it. No problem. So Ainsley Yates, number 18, enters back in, and Karina Pete comes in for Ellie Farrell. And yes, Vorbridge Soccer, there is a lot more substitutions here in the women's in the WPSL than there is in the NPSL of the men's side. Here's the ball in and collected by Prescott. Well done for her to hold on to it. That was not easy at all. That's a good piece of goalkeeping. Nifty piece of footwork here. But it's gone out of bounds for Carolina FC. And once again, thanks for tuning in today. Like the stream if you're enjoying it. Subscribe if you're really enjoying it, and share it if you want to spread the word. Also, we'd love to hear any of your comments, questions, or concerns, anything that you're thinking, who you're rooting for. As we say, we're watching the comments, so we'll definitely give you a shout out. Here's Hobbs off her line, but she'll take it into her box and just calmly collect it. Doesn't choose to pick it up as she passes it out to Hall. So here is Karina Pete playing in that position that her sister usually plays of Kylie Pete. Long through ball, maybe finding Gregory. Great ball from Karina Pete. Gregory driving in. She tries to cross, but the Prescott right arm. Not Dak Prescott for the NFL Dallas Cowboys, but the right arm of Prescott for Carolina Football Club, able to stop that cross. A little NFL reference there. Big NFL fan am I, personally. So Lieber trying to win that one out of the air. Now it's with Jennings. Jennings trying to get out of the way of the pass by Risher. And it somehow ends up with Karina Pete. So she's driving now. And a shot from Karina Pete, but right into the basket of Prescott. So here's that replay of the shot. And Port City FC, they've not been shy on taking long shots this season. So 39th minute here, 6 minutes until halftime. Vorbridge Soccer, we hate to see you go. Headed to Asheville City SC USL 2 game, so enjoy that. And thanks for tuning in. Hate to lose you as well, but thank you for being here for both games today. Here is Oka now driving inside, cutting shot, similar to Jack Steele trajectory, excuse me. And it missed the net though.
Entering the match for Carolina Football Club.
Here's that replay of that shot. Oka has got the potential to hit those shots like that. Ellie Farrell comes back in for Port City FC, and also coming back in for Carolina FC is number 9, Catherine Palakinis. So here's Jennings, Palakonis. Helps to win the ball back. Now it's transition time for Rizzo, and Carolina FC pulls back, gives herself a chance to play the ball in the box, but Riley Dio just a step behind there. And it's been a very slow first half. A couple chances for Port City FC. Obviously the one goal, the lone goal of the game, but ultimately it's been quite a slow-paced affair, has this game. Hellenkamp flicking it on just as Farrell did, trying to get it to Gregory, but it's well defended, and now on the dribble for Carolina was Barton. Played all the way back to Prescott, who has to clear. Only as far to Jennings, though, for Port City FC, who keep the pressure on. Now Gregory back to Jennings in the middle of the park. Jennings still with the ball on her feet, cleared away by Reinerick. Reinerick showing her presence on the back line. She's done a couple clearances that have been critical so far, but here's Gregory now going against Barton. And Barton gets blown by for Gregory, but right into the hands of Prescott once again. And Barton motioning to some of her teammates, trying to work on their positioning. And it's a big summer of soccer across the world. The CONCACAF Gold Cup, the men's North American teams, with the U.S. playing in it, and so Mexico and Canada. Canada actually playing tonight at 7 against Curaçao. A big tournament there. If you're watching that tournament and you have a team you're supporting, let us know in the comments. As for another tournament, as we've got action here. A breakaway from Carolina FC, and oh, just past the near post for Katia May, who scored in the last game these two teams met. They could have equalized. What a big miss that was. I just combined big and miss together to make one word, but just past the near post. And she puts her head up to the sky, knowing that that was a big opportunity to equalize this game up. So number 2 into the game. Once more, Addie Moss for Carolina FC, and a new left back as well. I think it's Karis Wheeler, if I'm not mistaken. So Wheeler back in the game as well. But the Club World Cup going on, all the clubs across the world. A couple of games today going on right now, actually. And an exciting time. Also the UEFA, which is Europe, the Euros. So the European Championship for the women's starts in 2 weeks. A big deal as the English team trying to repeat as champions. That's the first English team to raise a trophy in many, many years. So big, that was a big deal 4 years ago, beating the Germans in the final. Lieber gets it into Karina Pete. Karina Pete, big switch over to Oka. Oka cutting in like she usually does and likes to do as well. Farrell unable to get on the end of it though. And a good crowd out here today. With the sun being behind the clouds, there's not a bad seat in the house. I'd say about 100 or so, maybe more, fans in the stands today. And we're 1 minute away from halftime, depending on how much stoppage time there'll be. It looks like there's going to be a new keeper, Parker Walton, in goal for the second half for Carolina FC. Oka trying to score and get a corner kick, which she does for Port City FC before halftime.
This corner is powered by Walls on Libations Bar. Raising the bar.
So the corner will be taken by Azumi Oka. Oka now with the in-swinger, right on the back corner of the 6-yard box, headed by Avery Barr right into the mitts of Prescott.
The referee has informed us that there will be 2 minutes of added time.
There's the header from Barr. Good angle for her, but not much net to really hit there. I think she did the best she possibly could have, maybe could have done better, but she did well with what she had. Now, there's 2 minutes of stoppage time is the official word. Wheeler was able to get it out of her territory now. She'll take a touch and clear it once more, only to Jennings, though. Jennings has been there for all these clearances for Carolina FC, right around the 35-yard line on the field, which is about 45 yards from goal. That clearance, though, can't make it past Karina Pete. About 15, 25 yards away. Shot. Prescott takes the rebound right back to herself. And got to be closing in on double-digit saves is Prescott. I know she's got at least 6 that I've counted so far, maybe missed a couple, and there's that last save that she's made. So about a minute left in stoppage time here in this first half. No one was running onto that. Gianna Rizzo tried to get her head on it, maybe to flick it on to one of her teammates out wide, but unable to do so, and it went all the way back to Hobbs, and now recycled around. Lieber gets it to Gregory. Now Gregory trying to drive in. She doesn't drive in. She just finds her teammate of Karina Pete. Oko is making a run. She had a good look at it there, but Gregory is now open on this near side as well, but it's towed right to Prescott once more. So Prescott will look to get these last couple of seconds off the clock and get to the locker room for the halftime talk and keep it 1-0. A goal right now would really change a lot in that team talk. Oh, big foul. Well, it's not a foul, it's the halftime whistle, but a big collision there to end the first half. Paula Conis there took a collision, but she got up quick, and that's the halftime break that we've been waiting for. It's 1-0 in favor of Port City FC. A goal from Kylie Pete. We'll have the first half highlights after this. Stay with us. For 5 minutes, we'll have those highlights, and we'll be back more on Port City FC YouTube and TSC TV YouTube as well. We'll be back. Welcome back here at halftime at Legion Stadium between Port City FC and Carolina FC. It's 1-0 in favor of Port City FC. We'll give you some first half highlights. Here we go, right into it. We start with the goal for Port City FC. It's Ellie Farrell shooting deflected, or rebound, excuse me, given up by Prescott and finished by Kylie Pete. The next big moment after that, it was a very uneventful first half. They had a breakaway chance, did Carolina FC, just missed wide though, as that one just snuck by the near post. And heartbreak for May, as she thought she had equalized the game. Here is Karina Pete, her sister, scoring the opening goal. There's a shot that just gets right into the hand of Prescott. So not much action to be had other than that one goal. A good chance from Carolina FC to equalize. We'll see you back here in the second half, not in more than 6 minutes. So stay with us here on Port City FC YouTube and TSC TV. Welcome back here for the second half between Carolina FC and Port City FC. 1-0 in favor of Port City. We showed you the highlights at halftime. Here we are now, though, for the second half. What will occur in this second half? I can tell you something. There will be goals, there will be action, and there will be thrills. And it's getting underway right now here in Wilmington, North Carolina at Legion Stadium. 2 goalkeeper changes for both of these teams. We see in net now for Carolina FC, it's Parker Walton wearing the number 00. And then for Port City FC, it is number 1, Reagan Donnelly. So here is Karina Peets for Port City FC. They've scored 2 goals in every game, have Port City FC, and they've only scored 2 in 1. They've scored 3 or more in every single game other than the last game against Carolina FC. Ellie Farrell's shot goes wide. So here is Walton. Her first touch of the game in live action. Oh, and it's a slip for Walton. She gets up now. And Karina Peet is on the attack, and Port City FC on the hunt once more. Here's Karina Peet around the top of the 18. Shot saved, though, by Walton. And that's a good save for Walton after that, I would say, misstep. And that had some fire behind it, did that shot from Karina Peet. Here she is, driving, and then takes the shot. So here's Port City FC. Ellie Farrell just misses it. Past the post, that developed so quickly for Port City FC. What a chance. Farrell just jumping on the loose pass. Carolina FC escaping 2 bullets early on. Here's the first goal kick since that slip. And it's flicked on and controlled by Carolina FC. They need to get out of their end right now and try and switch the momentum. That is a through ball for Carolina FC, and the substitute of Overton with the shot. And Donnelly, though, makes her first save. There's the save for Donnelly. Rizzo was part of the attack there with that dagger of a through ball. Now it is the Peet sisters to one another. Kylie Peet, the goal scorer, plays it, or it was Karina Peet that played it to Kylie Peet. Back over to Karina Peet now. Plays it in the middle, looking for Farrell, but it's cleared away. Connection trying to be made by Catherine Palacones, but unable to be made. Here is Rizzo. It's taken away off the foot of Overton. Now it's Farrell's pass looking for Jennings. Doesn't connect, though. Once again, thanks for tuning in this second half between Port City FC and Carolina FC. It's a WPSL match. Like this stream if you like it. If you like it even more, subscribe. We are here for the journey of the rest of this game, which has got a long way to go. Here is a chance for May. May in on a goal. Donnelly trying to make herself big, and May once again missing another breakaway chance. I think this chance was a little more difficult than the first, but she still had an opportunity at it. We'll get another look. May trying to chip it over of Donnelly, but does not get it to go. So if this does end up being a 1-goal game at the end of the day, May will rue those chances, that is for sure. Here is Hall on a run herself, very passionately is she running. Oh, and it just ended abruptly for her, just a missed touch. But it's won quickly back, or trying to be won. Good play by Moss to just shield the ball, but it's not. But soon after that, the ball is lost once more, and then it hands over possession by Port City. And now it ends up with Port City after Carolina clears. Farrell trying to turn there on Reinerink. Reinerink is clear, goes as far as Chloe Wright, and now the back in the offensive half for Port City. Now they take it back and possess in the back line. Jennings finding Farrell, pressured by Reinerink. But Farrell persistent, and she's won it back. Now she'll take a shot, blocked though by fellow number 14 on the field, Jordan Davis. Shot, and just missed again. Whiskers wide for Sumas, who scored against Carolina FC the last time these two teams met. But Sumas, just a whisker, paper-thin margins. And unable to keep that one in was Palacones. Oh, nice little combination there for Rischer, who's driving down, trying to get the cross, but cannot as it goes out of bounds. So it'll be a corner kick, or goal kick, excuse me, for Port City. Actually, that's Carolina FC. I just messed that whole sentence up. So it'll be a goal kick once again for Walton. Her third of the second half, which I mentioned because the first two have been a little bit shallow. This one is a good connection to her left back. But the first one she slipped on. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. If you slip on your first goal kick, tendency would say, as it's an offsides on Ellie Farrell, ref hasn't noticed it, now he does. You know, that's definitely in the mind of Walton as she goes for her next goal kick. So how will that impact her as this game goes on? Walton will play it short now. Over to Yates. Excuse me, that was actually Davis. Davis played it and got a throw-in for Carolina FC. Now the throw-in is right to Bay. On that far end line, or touch line, excuse me, and a foul committed by Gregory on Barton. So Barton has won her team a free kick, and now Carolina can get a bunch of players in the box if they would like. Once again, thanks for tuning in. If you're listening to us on the stream right now on Port City FC YouTube or TSC TV YouTube, we thank you for listening in, and we hope that you like this stream, and if you do, we would love a like button and subscribe if you really enjoy it, and also comment who you think is going to score the next goal. We'd love to see your comments. We'd love to have interactions with you at home. It's headed back to Donnelly, who has to come off her line. Takes a collision there with Palacones. Palacones going in clean and fair, just a little shoulder there. And Donnelly takes the contact, is up now, and we get back to play as it goes to Hall. I want to give away here by Kylie Pete, the goal scorer, but Hall was aware and scampered over to help cover her central midfielder. Brigman was trying to run onto it. And a cross goes right to Donnelly, who keeps it in bounds and in play. So we've seen about 10 minutes of action, and it has been action-packed. There's been moments just like this where it has been a little bit slow, but it's been a lot of chances for both teams so far. in this second half. Reiner Inc. gave the ball under pressure to Yates. Yates was able to get it away though, but it's back now at Yates and Gregory driving. Gregory trying to pull it back, but Yates was on top of it. And it's a corner kick now for Port City FC and Kylie Pete. So the corner in from Kylie Pete is cleared away by the front post defender of Carolina. Karina Pete plays it to her sister, but Kylie Pete was offsides. And her sister's talking to her, maybe complaining about her being offsides, who knows. Kylie Pete shoulder to shoulder there, but a little too much, says the center referee, so it'll be a free kick for Reiner Rick. Reiner Inc. plays the ball in. Wright finds Gregory. Gregory plays it back to Kylie Pete, to her sister Karina Pete. Karina Pete still with it. Now she's got space. It's 3-on-3 for Port City FC. Can't get it to Farrell though. Reiner Inc. was there. Now it's with Karina Pete once more at the top of the 18. Here's Farrell. We've seen her turn like that before, but this time it doesn't go. Here's Hall, now possessing for Port City FC. Now Rizzo trying to create a counterattack for Carolina. May with a nifty behind the back pass with her heel, but Rizzo can't connect. With May once more, and it goes right into the hands of Donnelly. And a lot of these Port City FC players, homegrown players from the local club, Wilmington Hammerheads, as well as just local players at high schools. So coming back to their hometown while they're in college. A lot of D1 players as well. A majority of this team for Port City FC, D1 players, leading to their success so far on the season. And a lot of those numbers as well in Carolina FC. So here's Farrell, gets tripped up. Referee says it will be a foul. She might have been able to run down that one, but just got tripped up from behind. Walton, if you can hear her, she wants her defenders to hold the line on the 18. They finally do respond now. It'll be played in by Wright. Barr jumps back out of the fray, and that was over the head of Karina Pete. So it'll be a goal kick for Walton. And I know that it's been a little bit slow second half, but don't step away because chances have come out of nowhere. We've seen the goal come from almost nothing, to be honest. And we've seen a couple chances for either team that haven't gone their way as well. Here's Karina Pete playing to Farrell. Farrell takes a touch. She's got a chance on goal. Great defensive work there from Hannah Barton to get her foot in, saving a goal as Walton was beat. This one goes over. Walton does a jump to make sure. What a chance for Ellie Farrell, though. We'll take another look at a great through ball by Karina Pete. That's high IQ vision, but Farrell just kind of looks like she scuffs it, but a great defensive work from Barton to be there and almost put Farrell off. So a corner played in this time by Wright, the left-footed player, who will whip it in swinging. Like you said, we've seen a goal going off a corner, I would say twice in one game already. That one was headed by Barr. She's had it twice now off her head. But once again, it goes into the hands of the goalkeeper for Carolina FC. A lot of red jerseys in the way. That was going to be a tough chance to score off of anyway for Barr. Barr there, getting her head on the end of another ball and gets it back in possession with her team. Karina Pete over to Wright. They've had a good couple of combinations, but Ellie Farrell loses it. Karina Pete now for Port City F. They've won it back quickly once more. Over to Wright on that far side. Wright's taking on Barton, who just made that great challenge. Sumas trying to get on the end of it, but Davis will shield the ball out of bounds. And we've hit the hour mark here at Allegiant Stadium in Wilmington, North Carolina. So we've got about 30 minutes left. Palacones will come off for the moment.
Ready to match for Carolina Football Club. Number 15, Meredith Iden.
And it will be Meriden Iden. Iden's first action in the game today. Here's Walton, who has to clear it long over to Iden. Iden, though, lost the ball to Sumas, or excuse me, that was Rischer. Good defense work by Karina Pete. Oh, and they said it was out of bounds, but I don't know. I'm not convinced. We're taking a look at the replay right now. Yeah, it looks like Karina Pete kept it in bounds. She did well to block the initial clearance and chase it down. Looked like she might have kept it in, but referee's decision is final. So Julia Hellenkamp and Azumi Oka enter. Maddie Lieber as well. So 3 players coming on for Port City FC. Here is Hellenkamp. They're cycling around the back. Barr playing it over to Pete. Kylie Pete with a great ball to Oka. What a chance creator Kylie Pete is. She creates all these chances. Hellenkamp, shot goes astray and just whiffed on just that little bit. Here's Hall. But Kylie Pete really does start a lot of these attacks. That's what I was saying. How she's not necessarily on the score sheet in assists or goals, but she is always there contributing. She has a goal to her name today, and it's the game-winning goal as it stands. The lone goal back in the 20th minute. I'm sure there'll be another goal in this game. You must think there has to be, with how many goals Port City FC have scored on the season. 18, as I mentioned in the open. And they've only scored 2 goals in one game. The rest of the games, or 4 other games, they've scored 3+ goals. So they've never just scored 1 at Port City FC. This Carolina FC team, though, that team that they only scored 2 against, so good defense for Carolina FC. They've only conceded 8 on the season. That's second best compared to Port City FC's 3. Here's a through ball. Mays trying to get on the end of it. Donnelly is coming off her line. She looked like she might stay on her line for a second, but she decided to come and collect it. Farrell getting by Rizzo. Farrell's through ball to Oka. Onside is Oka. Now getting into the box is Karina Pete. But great challenge in there once again by Barton. A couple of big challenges from Barton. She's been the hero in the second half for Carolina defensively.
This Forest City Football Club corner kick is brought to you by Riceville Beach Brewery.
Just getting her left foot in there was Barton. So it will be Risher now taking the corner. It's been Risher for the past two, I think. Risher right on the 6-yard box, headed by Barr once more, her third chance of the game. This one goes straight off the top of her head though, and up and away. As we take another look at it. She tried to not jump to provide too much power, but by not jumping, she provided more power as it just fell off her head. So substitution, it'll be Rizzo for Carolina coming off. Coming on, it'll be, not sure yet. I'll get you that in a second. One quickly back by Karina Pete. There's been a lot of pressure off the Walton goal kicks by Port City FC. The player coming on for Carolina, we'll tell you in a second. Here's Wright, has to be cleared away by Reinering. It is Riley Deal who's entered for Carolina FC, number 7. Here's Risher though. It's knocked out of bounds by Yates. Here's Farrell. Farrell's cross, trying to get to Oka. Odd bounce off the head there of the left back for Carolina FC. Kylie Pete, long range effort maybe, but Walton was able to collect it there. So Walton places it down. A throw in now for Port City FC. Now Carolina once again with that through ball. That's what they've been looking for the whole game. Donnelly has to come off her line. Big collision there with Overton and her. Both players up to their feet. Here's Farrell. Gets it over to Oka. Oka finding Hellenkamp. Hellenkamp unable to get there as Jordan Davis cleared it out of bounds. So we've had another 8 minutes tick away on the electronic scoreboard. It looks like it will be the hydration break. Even though it's not as hot, it's still very humid out here. And that is important to stay hydrated. So we're in the 68th minute.
We still need to hydrate. Speaking of hydration, last call for alcohol is in the 75th minute. So if you do want an ice cold, Riceville Beach Brewery,
So once again, if you've been with us the whole day watching both matches, we do appreciate you. If you just tuned in for this women's UPSL match, well, we hope you've enjoyed the game. It's been quite a game. This WPSL matchup between Port City FC and Carolina FC. And what is the chat over on that sideline for Carolina FC? They don't need a win here today to try and clinch a spot in the championship game. But if they get a point, they automatically will, and not have to wait until tomorrow's game with Women's Football Club of Charlotte playing Soda City on the road. If Women's Football Club of Charlotte don't win that game, well then none of this matters anyway, and it will be Carolina FC but they would love to have that spot secured by the end of the night tonight with an equalizer. Also, it would put an end to Port City FC's perfect season as they head back onto the pitch now. And what a story it's been for Port City FC's women's team this season. Undefeated, a perfect season. And not only that, they were good last season as well. Only one loss, if I'm not mistaken. They chose not to participate in the playoffs last year, but this year they have opted to play in the playoffs and see how far they can go. As we said, ranked 6th nationally are Port City FC. They'll look to stay in that position, if not move up the rankings with a win today against a good team in the Atlantic Conference for the WPSL. Now the ball's back in play. Oka looking central for Kylie Pete, the lone goal scorer today. Karina Pete now turns, top of the 18, cuts back, shot with her left. It's blocked though by 2 Carolina FC players. And it's a Carolina throw as it's blocked off of right. Heavy pressure by Karina Pete. Palaconis was able to keep the ball though. Great work from Mayer. Get it to May now. May driving on Risher. Still with it is May. May's had a couple chances that she's missed today. She has this one that just goes out of bounds though. She had beat Risher with the sliding challenge and went out of bounds though for May. And we will see Rizzo re-enter for Carolina FC. Takes off Overton.
Entering the match for Carolina football, number 6, Gianna Rizzo.
And it'll be Gregory back in for Port City FC and Lieber.
Number 9, William Gregory. And number 6, Maris Jennings.
Actually, it'll be number 6, Maris Jennings. Excuse me, I said a different name. It'll be Jennings, though, back in the match for Port City FC. So definitely been a weird second half, I must say, as it's been a half that hasn't had chances, as here's another chance potentially for Carolina FC. Reinrich is up playing striker now from her center back position. So they've definitely switched her to up top unless she's far out of position. There's been chances in the second half, but there's been times when it's been very slow as well. Here's Karina Pete being challenged and won back for Carolina FC. A lot of good defensive work here in this second half for Carolina FC. May trying to keep it in, is unable to do so. And it's Hannah Barton who made that defensive work, or defensive effort play on Karina Pete. She's had a great second half. I think even if the scoreline does remain 1-0, Barton will be the player of the game for Carolina FC, and if they do get the equalizer, even more so. Props must go out to Eden as well, just coming into the second half, already making impact known on defense as well. Not only we haven't seen her on offense as Carolina FC trying to possess here. Here is Eden, or Iden, excuse me. And fans at home, comment who you think should be the MVP, and we'll try to put our best word in for the administration in terms of Port City FC and Carolina FC and the match as a whole. Your MVP. Love to hear your input for the folks listening at home. Also, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and share if you're enjoying it, for sure. Gregory throws it in to Jennings. Jennings gets fouled as A little too much hand-to-hand contact by Jordan Davis, says the center referee. But yeah, we'd love to hear your predictions about who you think is the MVP of today's game. So a quarter of an hour to go. Here's Kylie Pete. Whips it in swinger. Back pose to her sister. Unable to make contact though. Actually, that wasn't to her sister. That was Avery Barr. And guess who it would be? It has to be Avery Barr off these free kicks. She's gotten her head on 3 or 4, and now she gets a touch on another one, but just unable to get it in the back of the net. She's had so many good chances off of these set play opportunities. And you think that she just has to get one eventually for Port City FC. Carolina FC will hope not. Here's Palaconis. Palaconis still with it. Gets it past Donnelly, and it's equalized for Carolina FC. How about that, Palaconis out of nowhere? And we have a game on our hands now, out of nowhere. I told you to stay on the edge of your seat because something could happen in the blink of an eye, and it has. Let's take another look at the goal. Palaconis just is able to take a touch around 2 defenders. Donnelly comes diving out, and it's 1-1. What a big moment in this game. Palaconis has been trying the whole night, and Carolina Football Club may have just found themselves in the championship game if they keep it level. What will the response be for Port City FC? We haven't seen them in this much of a contest except for the last game that they played against Carolina FC, but this is late in the game now with under a quarter of an hour to go. Here's Kylie Pete over to Oka now. They've had chances here in the second half, just haven't been able to convert. Here's Oka now driving in, a body in the middle. They couldn't find Farrell though. That was the player running in for Port City FC. But once again, another set piece for Port City FC, and what a time it would be for Avery Barr to get it in the back of the net. I've said that she's gotten contact on 4 or 5 different set plays. This would be a time that her teammates would want her to make contact. But Carolina FC's been so good on these defensive set plays. It's over the head of Jennings. Barr was there in the vicinity. Farrell and Karina Pete can't combine, and now it's a 3-on-2 for Carolina FC. They can't get it over to Reinerink though. Palaconis was over on the far side and potentially had a great chance to go one-on-one with a defender, or maybe have space to drive in on goal. Farrell on the turn. She loves that turn, but the defense for Carolina has figured her out as they bring over a second defender every time, it looks like. Jennings now, though, has won the ball back, and Oka on the far side. Oka with some nifty footwork getting past her defender. Into the box, and a great save off the rebound. It falls to the defender of Carolina. Shot cleared away off the line. Maybe Walton would have had the save there, but what a shot from Jennings. And there's a lot to unpack here as we look at this replay. Oka with a great cross. Here's Wright, unable to make contact. Well, she does. Great save by Walton. Walton makes the second save as well, cleared off the line. And then the shot is saved off the head of, it looked like Yates maybe. I'm not quite sure who headed the ball away. It's a corner kick once again though. Port City FC putting the pressure on. Barr just heads it right to Walton. Walton with a super performance in this second half. Here's that second chance. It was Jennings. Big swing at it and headed away by, it looks like, yes, it was Yates. Walton may have been there, but Walton may have been throwing a courtesy dive. We'll never know. What a defensive performance for this whole back line and just whole team of Carolina FC in this second half. And this is what you come to watch on Port City FC YouTube or TSC TV. This is soccer in its most brilliance. End-to-end action right now. Mostly on this left end, but Carolina FC have just tied it up. Here's Karina Pete taken away by Yates. And now Reinarek plays it to the goal scorer, Palacones. Palacones, big switch, trying to get to May. May, who's had 2 chances, one-on-one with goalkeepers for Port City FC that she's missed. Both off frame. Not even making the keeper for Port City make a save, but her teammate and fellow captain, Palacones, just found the equalizer. Jennings cuts back, tries to chip the ball over to Oka. Oka wins it back now. She plays it over to Farrell inside the 18, does a spin move, puts it back. Great block by Yates. It's over with Karina Pete, tries to pull it back, but a swarm of Carolina FC football players. I think this Carolina nickname is the Swarm, and they're showing why right now. They're swarming to the ball. Kylie Pete fighting hard, puts her body on the line, gets the foul, and it's getting definitely chippy out there. The referee trying to get it under control. We haven't seen a single yellow card in this game. I'm sure we probably will see one soon, as this game is getting heated very quickly. And Barton has had a lot to deal with Oka on that far side, but she's done well. Even when Oka's gotten across, she's been right there to pressure and throw off Oka in the crossing motion. Carolina FC's mascot is the Swarm, so they've definitely shown why they are called the Swarm. Swarming to the ball, Kylie Pete, who scored the opening goal all the way back in the 20th minute for Port City FC. She'll take a shot on frame, but Walton, it's right in her basket, and she makes the grab. And Walton has been challenged in the second half. Some good saves from the keeper that has started the second half, and she had a slip off her first goal kick, her first touch of the second half as well. She really recovered nicely, has Walton in goal for Carolina. But the game is surely not over yet. It's 83 minutes. There's a lot of life left in this game. It's cleared up into the air where Karina Pete has got it right on the PK spot. She turns with her left. She takes a strike, blocked. Now it's with Farrell. Plenty of red jerseys in the vicinity to clear it away. Right, now Kylie Pete, who's taken shots like this before, right to Walton's hands though. Now Walton tries to motivate her teammates as they're taking a lot of crosses and shots to their 18-yard box, but Walton has kept them firm. Now free kick as Barr takes contact from Reiner Inc. There's that shot from Kylie Pete. And mind you, this wouldn't just be a big result for Carolina FC in terms of getting their spot in the championship locked away before tomorrow's game of Women's Football Club of Charlotte and getting second in the standings. It would also be big because this is the 6th team in the nation they're playing, Port City FC in the WPSL. And they are undefeated, perfect on the season. If Carolina FC could get a win as well, they would have a chance to potentially host the final if Port City FC lose their last 2 games. It would also be their first win in 3 games, but this feels more like a win for Carolina FC than it does a draw right now. Offsides was May. no matter what happens here in this last 5 minutes plus stoppage time, Walton has really put the team on her shoulders in the goalkeeping position, as well as the back line. 5 defenders now for Carolina FC, parking the bus, trying to survive these last 5 minutes, as I said, with stoppage time included. Kylie Pete misses that one. Barr gets contact again by May, but she's able to get it back to Kylie Pete, who now connects over to Lieber. Lieber is pressured by Barton. Now Hall plays it over to Barr. The center back's connecting for Port City FC. Now it's inside to right. Jennings was pressured. Now it's over to Lieber. Lieber with a through ball to Farrell. Farrell being pressured by Reinerich, who was playing striker, now is back to a center back, third center back for Carolina FC. Kylie Pete with a big, well, she was looking for a cross there. I thought she was going to play the switch, but she just played a through ball into Oka that went out of bounds. And that back 5 right now of Carolina FC holding strong. That goal kick right to Rizzo, but it went out of bounds before Rizzo could really get it under control. We've clocked into the 86th minute now of this game. The electronic scoreboard getting ever so close to 90. And that's when the fun begins, stoppage time. Especially if we stay all square. Here was Palacones. Palacones, though, lost the ball, and it's back with Port City FC. It's now with Hall. Hall plays it over to Lieber. Lieber inside to Jennings. Jennings just dumps this one long. With the inside of reboot, Farrow heads it back to Reinerich. Reinerich clears it long, and it'll be a Port City FC throw-in. So a lot of back and forth action right now. So it's Hall now driving. Jordan Davis playing defense and gets called for the foul, does Davis. I think Davis was saying that Jennings had an advantage for Port City FC. But now it'll be a set piece. I think set pieces are more dangerous for Port City than letting them play, which is why Davis was upset, because Port City really hasn't had much chance creation with the 5 back for Carolina in place. So this definitely provides an opportunity for Port City FC to have a chance of their own. Kylie Pete once again. Avery Barr was there. She might have been offsides, but the linesman's flag, I think, now does go up. But Barr has always been there on these set plays. You got to think that she might have one more chance at it as this game comes to its conclusion. And the referee now says goal kick. So maybe it was offsides, maybe it wasn't. I think it was offsides, but they're going to just play the goal kick because it did go out of bounds. We're in the 89th minute now. A minute and a half. Only 90 ticks of the clock before 90 minutes approach. And fates are sealed at that point. Here's Palacones chasing down, but Rischer's got the possession of the ball, but dumps it too long. Oka trying to get there. Walton will just fall on it and take her time. She gets up fairly quickly. Sometimes you'll see keepers lay on the ball for a second, but I think Carolina FC feel good and potentially think they could go win this game, which why not? Reinerich gets it over to May. Lieber running back. Rizzo gets contact and was offsides. So here's Lieber. Hall plays it to Wright, who's running onto it. Took a big touch though, and it's a goal kick. Walton will look to at least use up the remaining 16 seconds and get this to 90. We'll just have to see how many stoppage minutes there will be, or stoppage time, excuse me, added. 3 minutes is what I'm looking at, I think. So we're in 90 minutes now. It's another corner. I'm not sure what the official word is, but I think it is 3 minutes. So everyone start your clocks now. The clock at home is still rolling, so keep an eye on that. We've got 3 minutes already, 30 seconds down. Kylie Pete with a in-swinging corner to try and create some back post. And Oka got her head on it, but guess who was behind her? Barr. Barr might have been the better target there. I'm just surprised that Barr has been around every single one of these set plays. I think they're definitely designed for her. And she's been in the vicinity. She's had a couple good chances today. And I think she may go think about those chances as she goes to sleep tonight if this game ends up 1-1. Here's Farrell. Can't connect, Ken Farrell. Not many subs for Port City in the second half. Very consistent lineup. Farrell crosses it in. It stays in play. Foul, says the referee. There's a foul on Farrell. Bringman took the contact, and it's a free kick for Carolina FC. So a minute and a half in, it looks like halfway through stoppage time. Risher wins the header, gets it over to Jennings. Oka just flicks that one up in the air. Oka now once again gets on the end of it. Farrell, I'm not sure she has much left in the tank. Does Farrell? She's been out there pretty much this whole second half, if I'm not mistaken. And Jennings now. Excuse me, that was Wright. Oka chasing it down, getting a touch on it. Jennings overran it though. And Carolina FC will have a chance to relieve some pressure for a few seconds, but not before Gregory now attacking. Gregory driving. Here's Yates. Gregory still with it, coming across. Big sliding challenge. Referee says nothing there. It's a corner kick though for Port City FC. And a heavy challenge from Reinerick, but a great one where she got most of the ball. We'll take another look at it. Gregory got past Yates twice, and then Reinerick left nothing up for chance. Got the ball first, then the player. Definitely a lot of player, but it was a clean challenge. So Kylie Pete now. Maybe the last corner of the game for Port City FC. Maybe the last kick of the game as we close in on 3 minutes of stoppage time played. Back post once again. Oka's there, over the bar though. And Carolina FC have soaked up a lot of the Port City FC pressure like a sponge and could be walking out of Wilmington with a point and a championship spot, meaning that they'd be coming back here to Wilmington in a few weeks' time for a championship rematch, and Port City FC will look to get their get back if they can't find an equal or a game-winning goal in these next couple of seconds. But never say never for Port City. The pressure is on once more. Gregory trying to find Wright. Wright takes a big touch. That's Jennings. Excuse me. Jennings, big touch. Now on the edge of the 18. She kept it in. Now here's Gregory right at the top of the box. Gregory still with the ball on her feet. A shot deflected. And it's a corner kick for Port City FC once more. As the chances build and build and build, the pressure mounts. And you got to feel that this is the last kick of the game if you are a Port City FC fan. This is the moment, and for Carolina FC, this might be the last chance that you have to play defense on. Kylie Pete headed away by Carolina FC to Farrell. She doesn't get a touch on it though. Oka letting the ball bounce, and it's kicked backwards over the head, and there's the final whistle. Carolina FC have taken points off Port City FC for the first time this season, and a great comeback for Carolina FC.
This game ends in a tie, a draw, 1-1.
Paula Conis with the equalizer on the breakaway, and what a performance from Walton, the player of the match in my mind for Carolina FC, and the whole defense and the whole team as a whole for Carolina FC to play some tight defense. It's the first blemish on the Port City FC roster. What is their response for Port City FC? They have 2 more matches. Their last match will be at home next Saturday against Soda City. They play a game on Wednesday as well, the last 2 games, and then the championship game, which will be right here in Wilmington, North Carolina, Legion Stadium, which is confirmed now. And Carolina FC will be there. Women's Football Club of Charlotte, well, their season will be done after their game tomorrow, knowing that a point for Carolina FC will not be good enough for Women's Football Club if they get all 3. Now for the highlights of this game, we'll take a look back. Here's the first goal of the game. Thought it would be a runaway after this. Ellie Farrell shoots, rebound, Prescott, goal, Kylie Pete. After that, things changed drastically in the second half. It was a halftime score of 1-0. Here is a chance early in the second half. Farrell just unable to get it on frame. That was the story of the game for Port City FC. They just couldn't find some really good chances on frame. Didn't even make the keeper make saves. Here is May, second chance of the game with a breakaway. Chips it wide. Ultimately, her team would find the equalizing goal. Here's another great chance for Port City FC. Sumas just missed the far post from her angle, the near post for us. Once again, another great through ball. This one was the best chance of the second half for Port City FC. Farrell just couldn't make contact. What a last-ditch challenge for Barton, Hannah Barton, other than Walton in net, the player of the match for Carolina Football Club. Another chance for Port City FC. Karina Pete cutting it back, blocked by Carolina FC. That's been the story of that second half. It was blocks and misses and saves. Here's the equalizer. Palacones just is able to keep it off the defenders, and Donnelly comes off diving, and Palacones equalizes, which is what the game would stay at for the duration. But a couple great chances for both teams. Port City FC just missed the deflection there off the defender of Yates, who ended up clearing it. May have been the saving grace as Walton was able to make the double save. Here's that chance afterwards. It's a shot from Jennings, and it's headed away by Yates once more. A triple play there from Yates. Great work from her as well. That's why I said it's a whole